Large areas of Sindh still remain underwater, houses damaged or destroyed. More than 7 million people were affected by the floods here, and more than 1 million people still remain displaced. Oxfam is providing emergency relief to tens of thousands still staying in camps and is likely to have to provide support for many months to come. But funding is drying up.
The crisis is far from over at the moment. People are still struggling to meet their basic needs of food, water, shelter, healthcare. Organisations like Oxfam are particularly worried with winter approaching about shelter needs of 7 million people who still haven't got those met. At the moment, the emergency appeal supported by the humanitarian community in Pakistan is less than 40% funded, and therefore it's vital that the wealthier countries of our world act now. People are really vulnerable, they need our support, and we have to be able to respond to it.
Many in Sindh are facing fresh displacement. Families who'd sought shelter in schools are now being pressured to leave so classes can restart. Camps like this one have opened up to house the new arrivals. Famida Gancha and her family arrived the night before I met her.
लट्टा कपड़ा अब कौन मिलिया है न कोई था मिलिया न कुछ कौन बस कंबल एकदम वाला इंगे सीए में मराउंदा पे आसा रपड़ी कोने को बस रे कोई रेली हूं जे कि मावे चाय हम बारंगे से मारेंगे बस.
These tenant farmers are trying to salvage animal fodder and some rice from these formerly flooded fields. Other families have begun returning to their villages, which are still heavily waterlogged. Naimat Ahmed and a group of other women headed back home, worried that others might take their land and possessions. Last year, she was awarded 4 acres of land under the provincial government's land redistribution programme, targeting poor landless women. She should have harvested her own crops from her own land for the very first time, but everything was lost in the floods. It's hard to imagine that this was once actually farmland, not a river. Hidayat Sial says her village in Bubak is still inaccessible by road. She tells me she'll have to send her children to work to begin paying off all the family debts.
बस कर्ज बि मोटाईंदासीं बि छा कयूं पोइ हाणे बनियूं निकिरनि जॾहिं हींअर त चेट बि न निकिरंदो जॾहिं चेट खां पोइ कती निकिरे कती का अचे वरी चेट का अचे वरी उन खां वधीक ॿी का अचे त असांजो कर्ज लहे.
This family is returning home, not knowing what they'll find or even if their village is still flooded. Unless there's more funding to support emergency and recovery programs, aid agencies like Oxfam worry that the poorest and most vulnerable in Pakistan will continue to suffer.